Now, the last thing you really need to know about a habit before we move on, right, and we'll go into more depth at another time, is that we often think as bad habits and good habits as things based on what other people feel about, right? But what I want to tell you right now is that, again, every habit, no matter how bad or good for you, there is some sort of reward. You are getting something out of it. So, for example, I might have a habit where the trigger is when people get too close to me, right? Physically, my behavior is I yell at them or cuss or I get mad or upset and yell at them. And the reward is, although this might not work for me because I get in trouble later, the reward still is that those people are probably going to get away from me. They will step away. And that is the reward which makes me continue to have this habit. Every time someone gets close to me, right, I yell and scream, they get away, and then this habit starts happening for me. Now, the difference between good and a bad habit is just how much of a reward outweighs the cost, right? So a lot of habits that you have some sort of cost in actions, feelings, or things. So going back to our example, right? People get too close to me, I yell and scream, they go away. But at the same time, when I yell and scream, the cost is that perhaps I get in trouble, perhaps people don't want to be around me, people look at me funny, people treat me differently because of my yelling and screaming. Now that habit has a cost that maybe to me is not worth it, right? There might be something else I could do to get people away from me that wouldn't have this big cost, and now this has become a bad habit, all right? A good habit is just one in which these things happen and the reward is big enough that the cost just doesn't matter to you, or there's no cost at all, right? So it might be when people get close to me, I say politely, hey, can you please take a step back? The reward is the same. They still go and step away from me, but now I'm not having this cost of people looking at me like I'm crazy or not wanting to be around me. Okay? So there is a lot of different examples of how this can work, but really want you to think about, again, a good habit is one that gets you this reward without a whole lot of cost. A bad habit is one that just has a big cost. Right? Again, it would never be a habit if there wasn't some sort of thing you're getting out of it, right, from the behavior, because then you wouldn't do it anymore, right? The way something becomes a habit is because that reward kicks in every time you have that reaction, and then your brain starts to make it automatic.